I believe everybody knows what day it is. Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope everybody's having a holiday cheer, getting your presents, spending time with family. I know I am. But, however, two things. One, on the other side of the Pacific, as you know, Japan is one day ahead of us. I want to give out a special happy birthday to none other than Mina Shirakawa. As you know, yes, her birthday is on the 26th of December. Hope everybody goes onto her social media and tell her that because I know I did. But second of all, we're going to be reviewing the latest ChocoPro event 279 with two matches. All of them are, in fact, trios matches. And then, of course, some interesting events that took place in Japan on Christmas Eve. We had Joshi Pro Wrestling with See No Merry Christmas, and it has a very interesting match at the end where we have certain teams formed up. But also we got DDT Pro Wrestling from the 21st of December, Danshoku Dino's 20th anniversary book publication commemoration. I think that's what they call it. Winners and losers will get his book, which is really interesting. But also, we got some news updates to reveal what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So let's get started with another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, let's begin with ChocoPro 279. Our opening match, we have trios action. We have Chiko Shikawa, um, Sebastian Dwight, and Anarco Montana taking on Miya Yotsuba, who's now playing the honorary member of Black Komachi with Antonio Honda and Tokiko Kihara. This was a very interesting match. Now, what did I thought? A part of me thought that somehow Chi, Sebastian, and Anarco were going to win because the X factor of the match is Mia. Now, not to take away anything, I know she is still on the learning curve since coming out of the training with Mei Shiruga. I've always felt that maybe that's the reason, but I did like how Sebastian, the Anarco, and she can coexist. Now, these are three individuals you can tell that are extremely different from one another, but they always found a way to coexist. But as always, when we see Antonio Honda, he does his little guitar playing, and he sings the Holy Night. I figured that was gonna happen, but of course it didn't last long. But however, in this particular, I did like how there was a misfire again with the fans when they missed. Antonio Honda hit Tokiko. Tokiko hit Mia and Mia on Antonio. Everybody was out. But it was Chi with the submission onto Mia that forced her to tap out, giving a very strong win for Chi, Sebastian, and Arco, giving them a good win. But the best part is we did saw Sayuda, who we haven't seen for quite some time, give the little introductions of those who are supporters of Got to Move slash Choco Pro. It's great to hear that she's doing that. But our second match, what we have a very interesting one. We have CDK, Masahiro Takanashi, and Chris Brooks teaming up with Tai Hamna, taking on Shin Suzuki and the Killer Bees, the Killer Queens, Mei Shiruga, and Emi Sakura. But this is the first time that Hamna and Suruga actually see each other since their little Mexican excursion. If you guys remember, Mei Suruga spent much of October and November in Mexico since she was invited to the part of the CML Ladies Grand Prix. It's pretty cool. But I did notice something. Hamna, she really uh, excelled in her Spanish. She is very, very, she can actually speak it perfectly. So I'm like, looks like she may be making some trips in Mexico after all. But it's great. But how did this match between these two teams goes? There's like you know how CDK operates. They play a little different type of skill sets uh, than their opponents. But of course, they did put poor little Mei Shiruga in the box that says to be delivered in the North Pole. But big mistake is this is what I've seen sometimes. If you guys remember, not about a year ago, Mei Shiruga was put inside of a cabinet thanks to Masa and Chris, but she came out all crazy going ballistic. What? How do you think she felt when she came out of the damn box? Well, same thing. But in this case, it did not work. Um, Emi Sakura tried to use the belt once again, but Masa used it against her, and it backfired. But it did put a pinfall by Masa to win the match. Now, our Jungle Tournament, I presume Mei Shiruga was eliminated. But the way this ended was, let's skip to the end how this one goes. Sebastian was the one who won it, but however, there was one person that was kind of excluded out in a way, and that is Chris Brooks. So Sebastian lost to Chris, and Chris won the chocolate. So that's how it is. But it was a good show. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Not to mention, like I said, Hamna can speak perfect Spanish, and I think her timing there really helped her out. But hope to see more of her. And I think that's pretty much it right now, what we have for ChocoPro. So let's move on with Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. Okay, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling with Sino Merry Christmas. This took place recently on the 24th of December, Christmas Eve, which was a lot of fun. Majority of the matches we had singles competitions, which was kind of weird, but very interesting. And I think this is a perfect opportunity for certain wrestlers to improve on their wrestling craft. Our first match, we have, of course, Kaya Toribami versus Aruna Neko. Now, Kaya has won matches here and there. Her singles competitions, I know I've seen her picked up one here, one there, but as tag team, that's a different story. But I think this was a perfect opportunity for her to step up her game, as you know. I know people would like to see her succeed. And not to mention, she is good friends with Aruna Neko. They're even tag team partners. Hell, they're going to be teaming up next year together. But, however, someone has to walk out as the winner. Neko, I'm not going to take anything away from the resident cat. Um, but it was Kaya with the crucifix that allowed her to win the match. I think this was a real good opportunity for her, like I said, to step up. But she did. Next up, we have Arusa Endo taking on Pam Arajuku. This was also another good match because I've seen how Arisu Endo has grown up as well. Pam Arajuku has, well, grown up. One thing that really still scares Pam is Max the Impaler. But I'm surprised that Arisu Endo did not do that again on her because it would have been so funny. But I have seen how Pam has grown up so much as well. She pulled off her famous move where she looks more like, think of the stomp, but instead of using the foot, it's more like she's using the calf of her leg, of her bottom leg onto the back of the head of the opponent. That always been one of her finishers. It did apply to her, giving her a good win against Arisu Endo. Next up, we have a three-way match. We have Julia Nagona, Raku, and of course our current international princess champion, Miyu Watanabe. Now, we all know Raku. Before the bell rings, she sleeps. The real question does remain, should I pin her or should I not? Because you know how Raku is. Sometimes it's a trap. You know what I mean? That's what Raku does. She likes to lay a people trap. But however, that did not work. But what did work is the little lullaby that Raku does all the time. They kind of forgot about that. So both Miyu Watanabe and Julia Nagano fell asleep. And of course, there's the express she pulled off. But however, as always, we've seen with Miyu Watanabe, she does the giant swing, kind of Claudio, but it did not end it like that. It ended with, of course, applying the teardrop onto uh, Nagano and giving her the win. That's always been impressive to try. Now, our next match, this one was a very funny one. Mahito Kiru and Yuki Kamifuku, who are tag team partners and they're part of the Toyo Mates. What I do like about this, if you guys have noticed many times over, Mahito Kiru comes up with this amazing moment where she apologized to her opponent about what she's about to do. Do you think she was the only one who was doing it? No. So was Kamifuku. I just laugh. It's like they're both apologizing. I'm like, oh great, this is so fun. But in the end, it was of course Kamifuku with the win with the famous on her. I thought is just so great. Apologizing, but these guys may have to do a lot of apologizing when we get to the Max Heart tournament starting next month. Now, our next match, I have to say, it was really a good one. We have Yuki Inoue and Hikari Noa. Now, Hikari Noa has shown a lot of great moments as a singles competitor. Yuki Inoue has, for months, all the way back from March or so, she has stepped up her game as a singles competitor since her blood sister, Nodoka Temna, retired and graduated from Joshi Pro. She has pulled off a lot of good matches as a singles competitor. But I think this one was put her through the test because, as you know, Hikari Noa is a former champion. She's a former international princess champion. That would be huge for Yuki Inoue if she pins her because it could put her in the conversation for a title match against Miyu Watanabe. But however, this match did not go in either way's plan. It ended in a time limit draw for 10 minutes. Now, some of you question, really? Just 10 minutes? Certain Joshi promotions work differently. Some work with 15 minutes, others 20. That depending on the promotion themselves. But it was a good one. I have to say, Yuki Inoue could potentially possibly get a singles title run when that day comes. But we just got to wait and see. Now, our main event, we have an 8-person tag match. We have team number 1, Moka Miyamoto, Hyper Masao, and of course our favorite tag team, 121 million 0000 Maki Ito and Miyu Yamashita. They take on Suzumi, Shoko Nakajima, and the Magical Sugar Rabbits, Mizuki and Yuka Sakazaki. This is a really tough match because, you know, we have, of course, Maki Ito. We all know her how she is. And, of course, Miyu Yamashita, the Pink Striker. But you got one of the best tag teams in the opposing side, the Magical Sugar Rabbits. And don't forget, Yuka Sakazaki is the current Princess of Princess champion. And I think that sets it all. But in the end, it was the splash by Yuka Sakazaki on Moka Miyamoto that allowed her to win the match. I thought it was a great moment. So, it was real fun. So, I think that's pretty much it with Joshi Pro Wrestling. Let's move on with DDT. Our final review is, of course, DDT Pro Wrestling, which I haven't done for quite some time. We have the Danshoku Dino 20th anniversary book publication Commemoration. This took place on I believe, the 21st of December. Now, as you know, Dino has a brand new book that comes out. Uh, the ones who win their matches will get a book, from my understanding. But our pre-show, that was a different story. It turned out it became a what? Hold on, a 5-on-1 match. But however, the roles were reversed. The loser must take all 5 books with him because he lost against 5 people. And this match was interesting. We have the boss, Shinjiro Tagagi, taking on Disaster Box's um, Kazuki Irata, Toro Owashi, Akito, Antonio Hana, and Hiroshi Yamato. I'm like thinking, well, we'll see what happens because I know Tagagi is a tough SOB. The comedic Stone Cold Steve Austin in DDT. If you guys ask me why do I call him that, simple. Look at his gear. It's almost similar as Stone Cold Steve Austin. His opening theme song opens up with the shattered glass like Stone Cold does. That's the reason. But I think the best moment is Hirata, how he won. Now, if you guys ever seen Hirata, all he wants to do is dance. But the only way to do that, he has to put his special on glasses. And that's exactly what happened. Now, the others tried to stop him, but failed. One person almost tried to take his head off, was Tagagi. But it was, of course, a bit of a roll up by Hirata to pin Tagagi, and actually, he has to take 5 books with him. You can tell by Tagagi's like, ah! Like he can't believe that he has to leave with 5 books of Dino. Now, he can't stand Dino, and I think that's the best moment. And I think that shows that you try to play tough guy, but you lost by 5 people. Well, you lost to a guy who actually danced. But it was fun. I loved the pre-show. It's so fun. Now, our opening match, we have tag match action. We have Kazumi Sumi, Takashi Misai. I think these 2 guys are the young boys or so. They take on Hideki Okatani and Arnoko Montaña. I thought this match was pretty good because Hideki knows what's it like to be a young boy, learning, being on the learning curve. He's been in that situation until he found a home with Eruption, thanks to his former teammate and mentor, Higuchi. But in this case, it was Arnoko who picked up the strong win for him and Okatani when he applied the shooting star press, giving them the win. Next up, we have a bit of a very unusual Rumble type match. Everybody comes out wearing pantyhose on their heads because their faces are like this, like all tight. I'm like, that's kind of scary. And this who was involved. Uh, Hashima, Yasu Urano, Koju Takeda, Yuko Kuruku, but he did not want to wear it because that's not his style. Uh, Makoto Oshii, Yuki Sakaguchi, Yusuke Okada, and the most scariest one of them all, Saki Akai. Everybody eliminated themselves out of this one. They just are scared of her. She won the match because if you guys seen how that works, it's like their faces are so tight, and I think they're scared of her. They all ran. I thought it was so hilarious. Wow. Now, our next match, we have another trios match. We have CDK, Masa Takanashi, and Chris Brooks teaming up with the founder of Gambari Pro, Kent Oka. They take on the 3 members of 37 Kamina, Toi Kojima, Mao, and Yuki Inoi. Now, you have seen how CDK have operated all the time. They're a very strong tag team, as they always been, former KOD tag team champions. That's one of the reasons why they're that good. They even pulled off a double pinfall on both Mao and of course with Kojima, and they won like that. Now our next match is a singles action match. We have, of course, Shumna Katsumoto, another member of 37, taking on Dragon Gate's Noriko Doi. I thought this match was pretty good because a Shumna, we normally see him like he's trying to be all that, like he thinks he's a big rock star. But when it comes to Noriko Doi, that's a different story. He knows he has to take this match serious because he's facing a veteran who has done it all, and he knows it. And I thought it was a very strong match. But however, it was Noriko Doi who picked up the win on Katsumata. I thought it was great to see, that Shumna has to take things a little seriously. He sometimes, when I view Katsumata, he's the kind of guy who likes to get himself in so much trouble. Not to mention that, if you guys remember, Dino actually made out with him when he was the KOD Tag Team Champion with Takeshita, and Takeshita didn't do a thing because he knows what kind of hothead he could be. But I think this match has shown him, yes, I'm all fun and games, but when it comes to a guy like Noriko Doi, I have to take things seriously. So I think it shows a good side of him. Now our next match, we have another 6-way match. We have Tanosak Toba teaming up with Harimao, Yuki Ishida, and Kazusada Iguchi, taking on DJ Nira and members of Burning, Jun Akiyama, and Tetsuya Endo. As you know, Iguchi is still our current KOD Openweight champion, but as always, we are impressed by Tetsuya Endo. I thought the match was going to end with him when he applied the shooting star press. It did not work in that favor, but it was like a Blue Thunder bomb that sealed the deal when he put away what's his name, Toba, and that was pretty cool. So that's a pretty good match to enjoy. Our next match, we have another interesting singles match, and these are guys, of course, are from our pheromones. We have Yumihiro Inamura and Yuki Inoue. Now, at first, they were being a bunch of fruitcakes the entire time of the first part of the match, until Dino told them that they have to take things a little seriously. Enough with the fun and games. This is his show. So he's telling them, I don't know if it's the right terms or what he was saying. He looks more like he's telling them, take things seriously. That's exactly what happened. Okay, put away the fun and games. Take this match seriously. And I think that's exactly what happened. But it was, of course, Yuki Inoue with putting his ass on the face of Inamura, who allowed him to win the match. But there's no hard feelings between those two since they're both brothers in the Pheromone faction. But yeah. Now our next match, it was supposed to be a singles match between these two. We have Muscle Sakai and Danshoku Dino, until the GM comes out, decided to turn this a 2-on-1, and you wouldn't believe who was the opposing person against Sakai and Dino, and that was Dino's dog, Haku. I'm telling you guys, if you ever watch DDT, it seems like it's strange and wacky, but it's a lot of fun. So basically, in this match, Haku took down both his owner and Muscle Sakai, and he pinned both men. I'm like, it was so hilarious. So if you guys ever seen DDT, you should check it out. Go on. The way to watch that, you got to go to Wrestle Universe. You can see both. You can see not only DDT, you can watch Joshi Pro, Pro Wrestling Noah, and Gambari Pro. And whatever special events that they have that too. But it's great. So check it out. I think that's pretty much it with our reviews. I believe it's time for some news updates. to our news updates. So let's just get it out in the open. I want to say congratulations to Big Bill Morrissey and of course Lex Lanier on their engagement. Yes, folks, it was announced that they're officially engaged. I don't know when they started dating, but I know they have posted photos of themselves, on outings and all that. And if you guys know this or not, Lex Lanier, in fact, is the daughter of Diamond Dallas Page. That's right, folks. That means Big Bill is going to be part of the Diamond Dallas Page family. So that's going to be interesting. So, yeah, so congratulations to these two. Now, as you know, we're only about 2 months away for Wrestling Revolver's A Night on the Moxbury, which is hosted by none other than our former AEW World Champion Jon Moxley. They announced that the problem, Marina Shafir, has been booked for this particular day. So the real question does remain: who will be her problem in a match? I can't wait to see who they announce for opponent. Now, Pro Wrestling Wave has announced for their upcoming event on January 1st for Nami 1, the Regina di WAVE Championship that is currently being held by none other than our former AEW Women's Champion, Hikaru Shida. Her opponent is none other than the leader of Prominence. So I would love to see that match because, Risa Serra is one of the toughest ladies. So, as you know, but the obvious question does remain when it comes to Risa Serra. Will she be the one to bring back that title to Japan? That is the obvious question. We just got to wait and see when that happens. Now, finally, some interesting developments for the upcoming Stardom event for the Ryogoku Dream Queendom. Rossy Ogawa tweeted about the Rumble match that's taking place on that particular day. Now, now, if you guys remember, I did announce for several wrestlers that will be there. Let me recap those wrestlers for all of you so you guys can get a much better idea. Hold on a second. Pulling up my phone for all of you. Okay, so this is who they brought in for the Rumble. We have Yuna Mizumori, Saki, Super Strong Stardom Machine, Tomoka Inaba, Ram Kaicho, Fukigen Death, Lady C, Hina, Miyu Masaki, Waka Tsukiyama, and Rina. Now, there's two people that haven't been announced. But Rossy Ogawa put this tweet, and this is what he had to say. This week is finally Ryogoku Koku Gikan Decisive Battle. Attention. From the 0th game Stardom Rumble, players whose names are not mentioned will also participate. It's fun to see whether it's a surprise or an accident. Please take a look at a total finance results for Women's Pro Wrestling 2022. So what does that tell us? So we don't know for sure who will be making their surprise appearance in this Rumble or who will be accidentally be showing up. We don't know. But I love surprises when it comes to these type because X's we can try to take guess who's gonna show up. But I normally would say let's just wait and see. So let's just leave it as that and we'll just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode coming up. As you know, we got AW Dark Elevation. I yet haven't decided what else I'm going to put in since there's still some wrestling content I haven't seen yet. But I'll make that decision as we go along. So I'm just going to wing it as always. So I think that's pretty much it for today. So I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.